Thank you, Anna, for opening our space this morning with your crystal bowls as you also christen the yurt on your property in northern Sweden, where you are guardians of. And welcome everybody. I have great joy in my heart that we could be together today, and that so many of you who I have met on the last many years of my wanderings around our world, that we get to join together now in a weaving of our new earth. So let us begin. I feel to honor the directions of that in the way of the Andean and Amazon traditions of the red road path that supported my remembering. So as we arrive, letting go of everything that happened prior to this present moment and anything and everything that might unfold afterwards. As we bring our consciousness into this present moment, into the here and now, and imagine if that mental body's been busy, putting it on an elevator and bringing it down and distributing that concentration of consciousness throughout your whole system. For there are many layers and levels and dimensional realities to the words I'm going to share. And often what is more important than the words themselves are the sensations and feelings as they bring us into coherence and connection. And as we do this, as we enter this journey today, remember that ceremony need not be serious. What is important is sincerity of intention or intent, and of honoring the interconnectedness. And that the more joy and fun we can bring into ceremony, the higher the frequency we can actually enter as well. So please give your physical body absolute freedom of expression throughout our journey today. Sitting in stillness and silence is not necessary on this path of embodiment. Through the winds of the south, we call upon Sachamama, Mother Serpent,
soft belly upon the earth. You who teach us to shed our past the way you shed your skin. You who teach us to move soft belly upon the earth, honoring our physicality, our sensuality, and our sexuality. As we embody right use of life force. Come wrap your coils around this medicine circle, this global gathering today, and shine your light upon us. From the winds of the west, Otorongo, Mother Sister Jaguar, you who have seen the coming and going of galaxies, you who walk that rainbow bridge between the worlds, you who teach us to face our fears, the fear of death, and welcome death as an ally so that we may live our life fully. You who remind us to restore and repair our connection and communion with our emotional body as the elemental forces of nature. And you who enlighten us with the perceptual awareness that not everything is as it is. Welcome to this medicine circle through the Todo Mundo. In the winds of the north, Seraginti, Colibre, royal hummingbird, grandmothers, grandfathers, ancient ones, ancestors of these lands where we walk today. May you come warm your hands at this fire, supporting us to restore our connection and harmony with nature, as we are part of nature. Remind us to sip that sweet nectar of joy in the journey of life. Reminding us to make that epic journey, even if we do not know where our next food or water may come from. But going anyway, for if we do not, we might die. And gifting us that perceptual state of awareness to be stillness in motion, to be able to look at the bigger picture of why this is happening. And how do we engage differently? How do we engage consciously to change the outcome of the story? And from the winds of the east, Apuche, great eagle condor, the place of the rising sun. The visionary. And our invitation to fly wingtip to wingtip in unconditional love with non-attachment to our sisters and brothers, as we not only dream our new world into being, so that we may live and manifest our new earth here and now. Pachamama Papatuanuku, Mother, Father, Gaia. On your belly where we walk, where we rest, next to the two-legged, the plant people, the stone people, the finned, the furred, and the feathered. Thank you for this place upon your belly. Thank you for these bodies through which we get to explore and experience ourselves in physical reality. And Inti Tai Tai, Mother, Father, Sun, Mama Kia, Mother, Father, Moon, nations, the Australis, the star nations, from where we originate. the extraterrestrial nature of our souls embodied as consciousness in these bodies here and now. And this journey of not being here or there, this journey of becoming, this journey of integration and embodiment of being here and there, where our true power lies and may manifest with ease and grace. Thank you for watching over us. And taking a moment to tune into self, to your own heart space, honoring the journey that you have walked up until this moment. And making space for what has yet to come. And knowing that us arriving, that us fully landing into these bodies, that our return to love is enough. And anything more is a gift, a bonus, where we get to consciously play in this primordial pot of creation on this beautiful blue-green planet. And as we center in the heart space, we'd like to honor the consciousness of the honeybee, our primary pollinator on this planet, without which life as we know it would cease to exist. There is good reason why 33% of the revenue from Guardians of Gaia will go to support Be Life Global, a charity that is led by the consciousness of the hummingbee through a process of deep listening of all those who are involved that have been called into their hearts and into a space of service to administer the guidance of the bee. And I would like to welcome you all to Casa al Viento, House of the Winds, in the red rocks of Tepoztlan and Amatlan, the birthplace of Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan or Wiracocha, the feathered serpent, and the representative of Christ consciousness here in the Americas, particularly in Mesoamerica. And it is so good to see you all here today. So just checking in for a moment, could everybody please make sure they are muted? And if you didn't get the message, please refrain from using the chat today. When we publish the video of our journey today, we'd love to have your comments and suggestions and recommendations and feedback on that page. But it'd be really lovely just to have your full presence here, because we have been discovering the power of our presence operating within a unified field of love through both our mastery of multidimensionality 9-month mentorship program, and also through one-on-one sessions lately, and also with the sister I've been living with here in Tepoztlan. And the power of our unified field anchored through unconditional love is absolutely extraordinary. About probably 8 years ago or so, whilst I was working with a sister in Hawaii, on Molokai, one of the least visited islands in the Hawaiian chain. And this sister I was working with was of soul family, and I'd go as far to say now as we originate from the same monad, which is like the same galactic oversoul. And when we worked together, it was the first time that I experienced a potential I knew was possible that enabled her to rewrite from the source field through our unified field. And this was absolutely extraordinary. Although I knew it was possible up until that moment, there'd still been a lot of having to engage with a lot of weightlifting through the physical and the mental body and emotional body to shift old stories. But when I witnessed and experienced that for the first time, that potential to rewrite, I knew that was just the beginning. And at that time, it was still only with a few others I experienced it over the next few years. However, that potential has been expanding through casual conversation, one-on-one session space, and through our Mastery and Multidimensionality group. And I know that is a potential that we have access to do when we gather as guardians of Gaia together. As we gather together and as you gather with your own family units and networks and communities. It is a frequency that exists. It has been made available to us since the beginning of the 9th wave of the galactic calendar that began at the end of October 2011. And it was fascinating. I was actually in London at the National Geographic Society doing a workshop with Juan Nuez Alprado and his son. He is a philosopher and also an alto messiah, a high messiah of the Andean traditions. And I didn't even know at that time that that was the opening of the 9th wave of the galactic calendar. But the experience I had in one of the meditations, when I described it, was explained to me a little like a Kabbalah initiation into the tree of life. It was really interesting. And it was years later when I actually started meeting more people involved with the Mayan calendar, and also did a course with Carlos Johan Kalaman, sorry, a Swedish brother, a scientist who lives in New Mexico and has done a lot of in-depth study on the Mayan calendar, that I could understand our evolutionary process and as an individual and as a collective in relationship with the Mayan calendar, which is a galactic calendar. Our Gregorian calendar does little to support our embodiment and evolution. We would do ourselves a favor to synchronize our bodies with our lunar calendar and our solar calendar and our astrological calendars. And this is something that happens quite naturally and organically throughout our embodiment and evolution as we land into our body and synchronize ourselves with the planetary body. And I was just describing it to somebody the other day, that what I've come to discover is these earthly animal physical bodies the greater the integration we have of our consciousness in our body and our body into the planetary body, the more harmonious is life. It's as though my body knows astrology way better than my conscious mind. In fact, I'm studying astrology now with a wonderful wizard by the name of Mark Borax, who just released the book Ruby Heart of the Dragon. And he is doing his best to teach my conscious mind what my body already knows as far as astrological cycles go. And it's absolutely fascinating and very frustrating. I feel like a child trying to learn a different language. And I'm not doing very well because I've been, you know, dwelling outside, a long way outside of my left brain hemisphere for a long time. So I'm having to integrate my two hemispheres again and to translate to my mind what my body knows and what's coming in my direction, which is entertaining to say the least. So yes, I highly recommend the work of Carl-Johan Kahneman for conscious understanding of the evolutionary journey of humanity's consciousness and access to the potential of our own consciousness at this time. Because most of those who reside within the momentum tunnel of consensual reality through the mainstream media and Western world are operating within the predominantly sixth to seventh wave of the galactic calendar, the Mayan calendar, while we have access to the ninth wave. So people on their awakening journey are experiencing the unplugging of that momentum tunnel of consensual reality, unplugging from the mainstream matrix, and they're getting glimpses of what it's like to live and experience life in the other galactic waves, in the seventh, eighth, and ninth wave. And as with our evolutionary process, it's like we'll make a breakthrough, a lot more light enters the system, which pushes up naturally anything from the unconscious and darkness for excavating to make place for more light. This is the evolutionary cycle that we're going through. In comes the light, offload. And so what people are doing is they're getting, when the light comes in, they're getting glimpses. When the work for excavation comes up from the unconscious, they're dropping back down again. So there's another layer, another cycle of excavation required. And because this is available to us, living in the ninth wave, living in the frequency embodied in the new earth, then what happens is the more we can orientate the way we live our lives, the way we walk in the world to that frequency, the greater we stabilize in it and the more we get to experience it here and now. It is not something in the future. It's available to us now. So while our human consciousness, individually and collectively, can access that potential, it's available, to bring it into harmony and synchronization with the physical, mental, emotional body requires alignment, requires coherence. And I love the expression Barbara Marx Hubbard once shared. She said, evolution takes the time it takes to align. Such short and simple words. Evolution takes the time it takes to align. And when I heard that, I felt its truth in my system. And that's when I just knew this evolutionary business, it's not rocket science at all. If evolution takes the time it takes to align, what are we aligning? And what potential does that make available to us when we're aligned? So in the mental body, of course, we're aligning our thoughts, words, and actions. And when we align our thoughts, words, and actions, we get very good at speaking our truth, because we can't not speak our truth. And I got very good at speaking my truth and it took me a long time to embody what it was to speak my truth from a heart space. And in doing that, I discovered that when I can serve my truth from a place of love, it's much more easily received and digested from others, by others. So instead of the truth wanting to come here and out, it had to go down first, all the way down, and then back up to the heart and be shared as an offering. For that was my truth. And it did not matter then if that other person could receive it or not, if it planted a seed or not, if it made a difference or not. What mattered is the way I was embodying and walking that truth. So I was like, okay, that thoughts, words, and actions, that mental body component, let me bring that into alignment. And what am I bringing that into alignment with? I'm bringing the mental body into alignment with my physical body and my emotional body and my soul. And the physical body's been quite a journey of discovering alignment, you know. In my previous life in Africa, doing my conservation work, when I was still doing conservation and charity work from the place of rescuer, I was busy trying to save Africa from the Africans and elephants and rhinoceros horn, elephant ivy rhinoceros horn from the Chinese, and still polluting my own body. I would get up in the morning, I would do my yoga and then have a coffee and a cigarette. And it was like, you know, it took a long time for me to realize that there was a lack of alignment there. And it took time for those addictive behaviors to drop away. And they left as I brought my emotional body back into relationship with my physical body and with my mental body. And I allowed myself to feel. And for somebody who had been told her whole life, you're too sensitive, I wish like hell somebody had told me, your sensitivity is your superpower, embrace it, and here's how you navigate life with that sort of sensitivity. And wow, I am so super sensitive now. I feel everything. And it's so beautiful. I laugh easy, I cry easy. My body goes into contraction for such short periods of time that when she goes into expansion, I live in ecstasy. And there is such a realization that an ecstatic body is what and how these bodies and biodelic systems are actually meant to operate. And how do we reinstate that potential of nature we have been gifted in these bodies? I'm like, wow. It's like life's just beginning. And then, of course, that mental body, which had been leading the show up until now forever, marching off into the future with complete disrespect for her physical body, which had to experience burnout to slow the mental body down, and a realization that it's actually my soul here that knows who I am, why I'm here, what I'm on this earth for, and it's my soul that's here to guide my body. My mental body's here to implement my guidance. And we're not implementing certain actions. I'm actually here to play. To play on the planet. Like Miss Miranda, God's daughter, who just activated her voice. Yes. And we're coming to the likes of Miranda, the daughter of Anna Maria and Marva, my beautiful little goddaughter up there in northern Sweden. And we'd like to take a moment to honor Miranda and the other incoming souls that have made available to us the new earth architecture. Access to creation prior to manifestation. Because they have brought it in, and on that incoming soul's journey, taking a moment to deeply honor all of the young parents who have done their personal work and are choosing conscious conception. And conscious incubation, conscious birthing paths, and conscious parenting of our next generation. So in enabling themselves as vessels for which to birth these new beings onto our planet, it has literally landed the new earth architecture in the planetary body and in our bodies so that we may upgrade to meet them. And this is such a gift. And to know that for a very long time now, probably since I was pregnant in about 2012, it was brought into my awareness just how integrated our planet's evolution, humanity's evolution, is integrated with the incoming souls, with the new children that are arriving on our planet. It's absolutely extraordinary. They are the leaders of our next generation. And I'm feeling more deeply the responsibility of helping prepare their paths and their landing pads and their communities so that they may arrive fully, so that they may land fully into an environment that supports the essence of their soul and who they are and what they are here for on our planet at this time. So thank you for that little indication, interruption, invitation, Miss Miranda. I was coming to you, but obviously not fast enough. So let's take a pause now and see if anybody has any questions and or anything you might like to share here, knowing to maintain the amplification of our unified field. Although I have met most of you, you have not met each other. So if you have something to share, please be very clear and concise and introduce us to you. Please share your name. A sentence expressing your service to humanity, to Gaia, to the evolution of our species at this time. And please let us know where you're joining us from. And we would love to hear your voice in this circle. And while you're feeling into any questions or sharings you may have, I just want to remind you all of the importance of your voice, your own sound, song, and soul signature. It is absolutely unique. Your voice, which embodies your sound, song, soul signature, is your specific tone, note, or frequency. And there is good reason for you being on this planet at this time to sing your soul song, to share your gifts and service. And whenever we open our mouths, whenever we communicate from a place of alignment, coherence, and connection, our song, soul signature goes out into the world. It goes out into our immediate surroundings and beyond, and begins to create a scaffolding of coherence and connection that supports others who receive it into their own connection with themselves, their celestial and their terrestrial nature. So on that note, is there anybody who would like to share their sound, their soul song in this circle at this moment with a question or a connected sharing? For it is a gift to be in circle with so many facilitators and dedicated guardians of Gaia. And know that everything we share here is shared between us, among us.
Hello.
Hey, Mawa.
Hello. So between us, I just want to say I'm here. Hello, everyone. Hello, I am Mawa. I'm Miranda's father. I'm mainly on the background with her. But yeah, I came to say hello. So hello.
Thanks for introducing yourself, Mawa. And as we invited Anna to open the circle with the bowls, Mawa has an amazing gift with the songs of creation from the Amazon jungle. And we've invited him to share them when we complete our journey today, because the power of these creation stories also give us a visceral felt sense experience of the potential of what is available to us when we speak from the depths of embodiment of our own soul. Thank you, Mel.
I'm just opening the screen here so I have a look at everyone. Hello, everyone. I just like to see your faces, your smile. Yeah, so we know. But my daughter is also crazy to take over the everything here actually. So so I go back to take care of her. Yeah. Hello everyone.
Hello, I'm Shanti and I'm speaking from Portugal. Very nice to see you, Liane, and Ramya, Charlotte. I don't know if she's still there. And everybody else. Yeah, I feel I'm here in Portugal really to protect the land and take care of the land, and trying to bring awareness here to other people about that. So I'm basically what I can, I'm buying land, more land just for protecting it, and for preserving the trees, and yeah, that's my passion, really, that's my passion. I'm also working with people, training tantric life coaches in Finland, and that's, yeah. And I wanted to share a beautiful dream I had. I woke up to this morning, and somehow I connected it to this meeting. It was a long dream where I was like guiding people out of a big building that had no exits, but I found an exit, and I was like going with them, and anyway, in the end of the dream, we're sitting on a hillside and watching down in the valley, and there was a pack of wolves that were like kind of yellow golden fur were coming. I saw them very far away, and they were coming, and in the end they were just like really like around us, you know, touching us, and there was a mother wolf with a lot of like medium-sized babies with her, and that was it was very beautiful to wake up to that dream. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Beautiful, Shanti. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for your service, which is now based in Portugal. Yeah, a long way from Scandinavia, where we met originally. But thanks.
Yeah.
It's really lovely surprise to have you here today.
Yes, thank you.
And it's wonderful. You know, I have so much gratitude for my 5-6 years. I walked through the weird and wonderful landscapes and soundscapes of the neo-tantric field. It was such an important chapter of my life, very much supportive for my grounding and embodiment journey. It was those years that I released my subscription to the Love and Light Brigade and went down and really discovered the dark light and the light of love. And I have a lot of gratitude for those years. It also taught me that what I felt to be true was my truth. And it reinforced the importance of embodiment as we reconnect and reactivate the primordial power of our life force energy. Because a lot of that activation happens without the embodiment, and it's actually when we ignite our life force, our Kundalini energy, without the embodiment, it's like becoming a lighthouse. And if we don't occupy that lighthouse, lots of other beings would happily embody it. So it's a really important journey for everyone to make with embodiment, with groundedness, with connection to body and connection to nature and connection to our earth. And there was one moment as I was creating beauty in the opening of a temple space I was participating in. And one of the leaders in the field made a comment to me, and he said, "That is not your body." And I didn't realize then how shocked I was by the comment, how stunned I was, and how, although I knew it wasn't true, I didn't have the voice to respond at that time. And it really sent me on quite a big journey that evening, and for much longer to follow, when I wanted to know the truth of all my truth in this reality. And it was like, no, this is not my body. However, it is a gift to be here in this body. And my consciousness has a responsibility for this body while I'm inhabiting her, to take my best care of her. And when that depth of love, appreciation, love, honor, respect for this body comes online, it naturally connects and reconnects that depth of love, honor, and respect to this planetary body, with a visceral understanding that I am not separate to this planetary body. What I do to my body, I do to the planet. What I do to the planet, I do to my body. And something clicked deeply inside of me that made me realize, in all of my years of conservation work in Africa, I was going out to try and fix an external reality, that the change would come when we came home to these bodies, when we came home to love, when we came home to connection, to the depth of soul that we know without a doubt there is no separation. It's not a mental concept. It's a felt sense of arriving. So thank you. Thank you again, Shanti, for bringing that message into our circle today. Is there anyone else who has a question, a sharing, a contribution that's connected to our journey today?
I would just quickly like to greet you from Norway. I'm trying to join here from outdoors in nature, but my little whale baby is calling me indoors. So I'm very, very grateful that the time space opened for me to join, and I'll be listening in. So, thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. It's lovely to have you join us. And I also met Veronica, who originates from Czech, now lives in Norway, and we met in Scotland during that neo-tantric journey. And Veronica also made it after her first daughter was born to join us for the last retreats when I was guided to work with women on all continents in 2015, which the work this year is interconnected to. And our last women's circle was in Peru. And after that journey, I have permission to share this story from Veronica, and would write, because it's very relevant to today and the Sirian Star System, is that Veronica was pregnant again soon after that journey in Peru. And for some reason, I was very curious about the birth of her second child. And I asked her if she would please let Ken, her partner, know to let me know when it's time for her second child to enter the world. And he did. And I just felt a connection with this soul. And about 3 months after she was born, then Veronica contacted me for a session. And when we opened our computers and connected, I heard a little gurgling coming from down below. And there was her newborn baby, aged 3 years old, 3 months old. And Veronica put the computer down for us to connect, and we connected. And for the next 15 minutes, we worked with the whale song lines all the way from Norway, down through Scandinavia, across into Europe, and all the way down to Gibraltar. And we had joked that her second born was her whale baby. And we were literally weaving with the whale song lines. We completed after about 10-15 minutes, and her little daughter just went about her journey, and we carried on with our session. And we met again, I'm not sure, we'll check with Veronica, maybe 6 or 9 months later, for another session. We met again and again at the beginning of the meeting. I had a meeting with her daughter and we completed that weaving, popped across from Gibraltar into the top of Africa and took it all the way down through Africa and into Antarctica. And it was like, wow. And I was only just starting to discover the gifts of the incoming souls then. So thank you, Veronica. And Veronica has also recently, very recently, embarked upon her journey of living with bees. In the last month, she has her first beehive at home. And we will have definitely a journey with the bees early next year that I'll probably mainly facilitate. And I'm also going to invite Jan, our Bali bee man, who we founded together Bee Life Global through the consciousness of the bees. And I'm going to invite Jan around the time of World Bee Day to also be with us for a day and help share the practical magic of living with bees from a equatorial environment. For the bees, I'm just going to move out of the sun because this bee didn't bring her sunblock today. The bees have a special gift for us, for humanity. Not only are they our primary pollinators, but they also hold the template of Homo Universalis, which is a stage of our embodiment and evolution. I interface our embodiment and evolutionary journey with, we are born Homo sapien. As we embody our soul consciousness, we become Homo luminous. Our next level is Homo galacticus, when we start reconnecting to our galactic origins. And the next stage is Homo Universalis. And it is the bees that hold the template of Homo Universalis for humanity at this time. It's our humble honeybee, that everything the honeybee does, they do for all. They do for their hive, they do for their environment, they do for humanity and harmony on our planet. So the humble honeybee holds many gifts for humanity on many levels and dimensions. And the frequency of the hum of the honeybee is the same frequency as the anahata, as the heart chakra. So simply living with bees harmonizes us back into our heart space, into harmony and into connection with our environment. And since meeting Jan and living with bees every time I've been in Bali, I have learned so much from that relationship and that connection. And that connection is now an integrated part of my own system, that when I enter the territory of honeybees other than the Asian honeybees, the honeybees recognize me. As family, they come visit with me, they bring me messages. It's been absolutely extraordinary. So from humble beginnings, Bee Life Global has great visions that are manifesting at the speed of love. Which also brings to a very important point of our embodiment and evolutionary journey that I've come to realize: to embody and stabilize in the frequencies of the new earth, I have only found possible from the parasympathetic nervous system. if or when or for any reason I move out of the parasympathetic and onto the sympathetic nervous system, I drop out of that frequency. So it's a huge lesson for all of us. If we want to live in the new earth frequencies, we need to slow down. We need to know the art of regulating our own nervous system. And through that, we will begin to understand the beauty and the gifts in just being here and having and leading a simple life on earth, which is way different than the script that we consciously or unconsciously subscribe to since the time we arrived here. And it's a very important piece of the puzzle for families who are receiving incoming souls, to be able to regulate the nervous system in their environment, so that they too may know their parasympathetic nervous system as a place of home, as a place where they can operate from, where they can live from, where we can live from. So, thank you for those extra pieces of the puzzle. Is there anybody else who has anything they would like to share as they sing their song here?
I'll just say hi. I'm Jason. It's great to meet you. Good to see everyone. And I like what you said about not just embracing the light, because without the love, it doesn't really matter. And that's what I've found is if I can't love the person I think is hurting me or hurting the planet, then I'm just perpetuating the very thing that I'm trying to, I'm supporting it in a sense because I'm giving it something to push against. And so I'm grateful that I'm here among people that understand that and appreciate that, because otherwise it's just light. It needs to be the love too. So I'm grateful for that. And I do ceremonies with breath work, energy work here and on the big island of Hawaii. And grateful to be here. So thank you all.
Thank you for joining us, Jason. And literally, I only met Jason online recently in the last month. So it's wonderful that you could join us today from Hawaii.
Yeah, it's early here.
Yeah.
It's only 6:30 now.
Thank you. And thank you for your service and for following your soul and also your calling to the Mesoamerica in the near future.
I'll also say hello.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi, I'm Courtney, and I'm also in Portugal right now. Francie, I'm curious where you are. I'm a travel nanny for 2 divine little star seeds that I'm caretaking for right now, and I'm just grateful to be here. And good to see everyone.
Thank you for joining us, Courtney. And thank you for your role in conscious custodians of your 2 little children in your care. Carla.
Hi, everyone. Also so grateful to be here. I'm in British Columbia, Canada, and I feel like my service takes many forms, but at its essence is really supporting people to remember and connect to love being the guiding force in their lives. And Leanne has also been instrumental in supporting me in that service. So yeah, it's beautiful to be here. I love the talk of the bees. It's on my radar. I've been it's summer here, and just feeling into the abundance of nature in my garden, and just having so much joy of connecting to all of the life around me and all of the things growing. And I feel like bees are a part of that. So I just love that this has been brought into the discussion. So thank you. And thanks to all of you.
Thank you. And thank you for your service up there in Canada. It has been such a joy, a pleasure, and an honor to support and witness you on your flowering. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Hello, I'll say hi it's Jenny from Shropshire in the UK. My service is all about creating right relationship between people and planet. So currently that's in the form of working to build and march as a 3-generation alliance and transforming food and farming systems. Part question, but maybe too much to sort of cover here, but I've been really trying to be very aware of where we are in terms of cycles, sun, moon, star, and then got really confused and perhaps being too much in my head around the difference between the astrology and the astronomy, and the fact I've been working on biodynamic stuff with the plants, and that sort of linked to the constellations and earth, air, fire, water signs. And there's a difference depending on which system you're using. But I suppose it's just that point you're saying about feeling in your body. I think I've got too stuck in my mind in trying to understand that. So maybe just some observations in that, because the living in tune with the solar cycles and all of that just seems such an important key to connecting and grounding and coming home. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for your service, and thank you for bringing your confusion and question into the circle, because it's also what today is about, is how do we arrive deeply enough into these bodies to let them guide us through the cycles. And it comes from the alignment, the coherence, but it also comes from deep listening and feeling to the wisdom of the body consciousness. And for whatever reason, maybe I better start with how Guardians of Gaia came into being. I said, it's a bit like, Earthwalk was a name given to me in 2009. And it's been through many evolutions and cycles up until now. And I feel like I'm just trying to get a taste now of what Earthwalk is here to become, here to manifest. Well, the name Guardians of Gaia came to me a few years ago, and I actually tried to pass it on to other people I was working with. And nobody accepted it. So it just sat, Guardians of Gaia just sat in my field until now. And it started knocking on my door, a lot louder lately, saying, hey, it's time. And I got a very clear, it's time on this full moon in Capricorn, the wise old earthly goat, to plant the seed, to manifest Guardians of Gaia. So I stopped arguing and just said, yes, okay, let's do it. There's a reason for this now. And this reason and this timing, I often refer to as what it is when we have embodied enough of our soul consciousness, that our soul's leading our earth walk, and we start dancing our destiny timeline. And when we're dancing our destiny timeline, we're not inclined to get left behind, and we're not inclined to get further ahead. When we're dancing our destiny timeline, it brings our consciousness into body and into the present moment to such a degree and depth that we can clearly hear the wisdom of our soul when it's communicating to us. And our service also gets synchronized with the evolutionary journey of our planet and the collective consciousness of humanity. So for whatever reason, that was how I got your opening, Guardians of Gaia, today. Whether you're ready or not, today is the day. I surrender and say yes. On this full moon. And I asked, and how often are we going to have these gatherings? And I got very clearly for the rest of the year, they'll be around the time of full moon or equinox or solstice. And next year, they may open into new moon and full moon gatherings to better support both all time zones so people can meet in person once a month. And I'm just saying, yes, okay. So that was part of it, but also another lead up to this to show you the interconnection of guidance and service. I received my second transmission for Earthwalk the day before the largest crop circle ever appeared on the planet. And that was the crop circle of the Vitriano man inside the butterfly that landed in the Netherlands, in Holland, very close to Goes, where we used to hire the coaches from when I ran European journeys in my early 20s. And I knew that was connected. And that happened on the 7th of August in the Lion's Gate passage. Now, since then, the majority of the sacred journeys I've been guided to facilitate in Egypt have been guided to be facilitated through the Lion's Gate, the months of the sun, the hottest time in the Sahara, and the time of the hierarchical rising of Sirius. Sirius is a binary star system, also known as the places from which our Cetacean nation originates. Our Cetacean nation who have been singing the harmonics of the planet through this time that humanity have been sleeping, supporting us to awaken, to remember our responsibility as guardians of Gaia, to sing our own songs and to reconnect and remember and sing these harmonics of the planet ourselves. The hierarchical rising of Sirius, for many believers, also the origin of our bee species, our honeybees, which you'll often see represented in hieroglyphs throughout the temples of Egypt. And the hierarchical rising of Sirius was also at the time when the Nile would flood its banks, fertilize the land, prepare the earth for the next season of crops. So we are in the passage of the Lion's Gate when the sun moves into Leo. And regardless of where Leo appears in our astrology, when the sun moves into Leo, it moves into our heart fire. It moves into our courage. It is time for us to shine our light in the world. And it's the time for us to step out of the chains that bind us. It's the time for us to sing our song, shine our light, be the person we came here to be. And this is the time that we are in right now. The sun entered Leo on the 22nd of July, also known as, recognized as Magdalene Feast Day. And it was a huge day here and all over the planet. So we are in this passageway right now of extraordinarily high vibrational energy, powerful time of transformation, and as a result, there is a lot of chaos in our external realities. As anything that is not truth and in support of our soul embodiment and service begins to rattle loose. So everyone here facilitates others. And in order to support others, we need to first support ourselves. So it's a really important time that we be extra mindful of our own physicality, our own system, and what our system needs to be best supported so that we may support others. But I look at our system also as a love tank. And it's my responsibility to make sure my love tank is full. For if my love tank is full, she'll just overflow into everyone and everything she touches. And if for any reason my love tank drops below full, even a fraction, pause and top up my love tank. And that depth of self-love, self-care is the absolute foundation stone of our embodiment and evolution. When our self-love and self-care is at such a depth that we are no longer going to compromise that or our truth, then we will least likely be led astray to still learn the lessons we have yet to learn. So that sensation of feeling into our cycles and supporting us feeling into the cycles is to look where they are on the calendar, to know where they are. I actually bring our solar cycles onto my calendar because my calendar really has its own consciousness. And I always ask when I'm meant to meet who, where, and if anybody steps out, it's because somebody has to step in. And I pay particular attention to who I'm meeting on certain points of our solar and lunar calendar. And where they are on the planet, because that is also interconnected with our planetary service. So have the basic framework of the maps, knowing when our cycles are. Along with our solar cycles, we have our 4 main solar cycles, and we have all of the ones in the spaces in between. Samhain and Beltane, Imbolc, Lammas. Because those two are also very powerful times on our solar cycle. So know where they are on our calendar and remind our bodies by being close to the earth and being in connection with the earth. And it is our embodiment practices that are really very important to support and maintain that connection as well. A morning practice is a must. And with anybody I've journeyed with, one-on-one in group facilitation, that I can't emphasize enough the importance of morning practice to support our systems and to maintain alignment and coherence with our physical, mental, emotional body, with soul, and with the planetary body. And before we close today, I will lead you through a simple process of aligning those bodies. Because when we have a really strong center of which to orientate and of which to bring parts of our consciousness that have been left through time, space, and dimension back to, it grows and strengthens our own pillar on this earth. And even if there's chaos around us, we can still be the stillness in the eye of a storm. And if we're ever taken out of it, drop everything that's non-essential and come back to center. We need to embody, we need to align, we need to walk our talk. So it all starts from the center of our own universe in a very healthy way. And from there, with that connection with the planetary body, we can feel when things are changing on the planet. And the planet is going through major changes right now in this turning over of time. And when we are connected enough, we can feel it, we can sense it. We can see it in nature around us. Nature is our greatest teacher, as we are part of nature. So hopefully that helps you, Jenny, on finding that coherence and connection so that your natural and intuitive ability will come back online. And my feeling is we will have time or space for one more share to hear somebody else's voice here. And then what we would like to do is go through the alignment process with you. And Mawa has offered to share one of the songs of creation to close our journey today. So is there anyone else who has a question for us or a sharing today? As I keep cycling a little closer to the house and out of the sunshine that's shining very brightly in Mexico this morning.
Hi everyone. Hi Leanne. Thank you for this. Greetings from the Aurora lands of northern Sweden. I feel, also known as Sapmi, the real name of this land is Sapmi, which gathers over the northern parts of Norway, Sweden, Finland, into Russia, the land of the Sami nation. So here we are, and I thank you for being with us for the first time in our newly raised temple yurt. It feels really appropriate that for some reason this gathering of guardians of Gaia, for the ones that are here and also for the extended global community that belongs to this community, to be anchored for our family and the base that we have created here through the guidance of our daughter Miranda Aurora. So I would just like to give my voice from these lands and presence this feeling that I have of the importance of the pull that many of us are getting at this time, which is becoming stronger for those of us who are not already anchored in home base. I know many of us, myself included, for many, many years traveled the ley lines of the earth at these different points throughout the solar cycle of the year, right? And following this guidance. And what I like to presence today in your presence in the opening of our specific temple of Gaia here in is this angst and frequencies that we hold down, each one of us, as we plant our roots deeper into the earth. My service has been focused for 13 years now upon primarily within the women's work, and in the culmination of this full moon, the clarity among the next evolution of what is to be called, at least for now, Gaia motherhood, coming souls, to clarify, and with Leanne and many of you perhaps in these different projects that we are weaving all together. So with that, lastly, as there was an invitation of soul song, I'd like to share just a really short song that came to me through the star of where my daughter comes from many years ago, when she started knocking on the door. And it has to do with the weaving of that star seeding through the anchoring of the aurora and the northern lights, and the unification of the light that comes from the north with the embodiment of the south, and the unification of all nations and all creation in that way. Nawi nane, nawi na wene, 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 nawi nane, nawi na wene. Thank you for being here with myself and my family. We love you.
Beautiful, Anna. Thank you so much for your contribution and your presence in my life on this journey, for all the adventures we have had and all those that are just starting to unfold. So, my dears, let us go through the process. I would like to speak you through the alignment process that I do every morning. You are welcome to engage with me as consciousness or physically. If you want to stand up, sound, breathe, or move, please go ahead. We are going to go through the alignment process as Mawa prepares for the closing song of creation that is quite profound. So, making space for yourself and just using a little sound, breath, and movement, shaking. And we will begin by aligning the physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Remembering the more you sound, breathe, and move, the more direct the integration into your physical. And the more you may surrender to the wisdom of the consciousness of your body to lead you from soul. So aligning physical, mental, emotional bodies with all pervading soul, higher self, and oversoul. My true self, beyond the illusion, synchronized, synthesized, synergized with the universe and embodied. And from here, let us sink the luminous thread deep down from the root, the base, the womb space that we have as men and women embodied. There is an etheric womb in the male body that requires reactivation as the man reconnects to his feminine nature. So sinking that luminous thread deep down through the soil, the sands, the bedrock, the waters, into the molten core, into the heart of Gaia, and into that aquamarine, primordial, plasmic ocean of creation. And inhaling those energies up directly through the root, the base, the womb space, into the pelvic bowl, and are up through the feet, the legs, the knees, the thighs, the hips, allowing those energies to mix and mingle, that primordial energy of creation, the elemental structure of fire, of water from the center of Gaia, mixing and mingling in your pelvic bowl and interconnecting with the planetary body from its core. Next inhalation comes up through the root, the base, the womb space, into the belly, expanding with sound on the exhalation. In the belly, the second brain, the emotional body. And on the next inhalation, coming up through the root, the base, the womb space, the belly, into the solar plexus, the power center. And expanding with sound on the exhalation, reinforcing that sense of self-love, self-worth, self-respect, and sense of belonging here. And then inhaling that energy up again through the root, the base, the womb space, the belly, the solar plexus, into your own heart space. Expanding with sound on the exhalation and igniting your lion hearts while the sun is in Leo. Engaging your sense of courage and sense of self, knowing that it's safe, that you belong, and it's time for you to shine your light in the world. And the next stage is to surrender through the core of Source in the heart of Gaia, where the new earth architecture emerges that is not outside of self. And at this stage, I often imagine the planetary body being in my pelvic bowl, in my lap, my arms wrapped around. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of Gaia, where the new earth architecture emerges that is not outside of self. Surrendering through the core of Source in our own heart space. With sound. Allowing yourself to arrive, knowing that you are held from here, you are supported from here. Holding space is a practice of the past, for when we can surrender fully into the new earth architecture, we are held. And all those who we meet from this space are held and supported. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of the sun that is not outside of self. And here I'll often imagine the sun to be in my heart. And then aligning through the galactic center that is not outside of self. Positioning that galactic center is often useful in the place of the pineal gland, our gateway to God, soul and source, where we come into coherence with creator and creation. And from this space, engaging your sound song soul signature to strengthen your own new earth pillar. This is yours. Oh. Sounding, breathing, moving, and strengthening your own new earth pillar. As we invite Mawa in to share his creation song with us.
There seems to be a different Mawa and Miranda went walk.
Okay. So if Mawa and Miranda are on their own creational journey now, we might just invite Mawa to bring his creation story to our next meeting and our first official meeting in 1 month from now, which the date for that meeting is expected to be on Monday, the 28th of August. And this will be held at 3:30 p.m. in Mexico, Mesoamerica, so that our Australasian family will be able to join us. And I've just realized that unless Mawa is here in the Americas, then he might be saving our creation story to the next time. but there will certainly be a chance and an opportunity for Maua to share his song here, and to know that Guardians of Gaia is our space. And although there was a lot of sharing from me on the journey today, that in future that will be interspersed with meeting many of Gaia's guardians I have met on my journey, be them wisdom keepers, sharing oral story with embodied transmission, or musicians sharing their gifts here. From what I understand so far, this is a community for the guardians of Gaia that will support Gaia through Be Life Global and the consciousness of the bees. And I am feeling a little like an innocent child with excitement and curiosity on how this community will unfold and grow over time. So for this day today, I am deeply grateful for each and every one of you, for being in my life, for sharing this journey, and for your selfless service to our planet and humanity. I wish to honor all those who are in their dream time right now, who were unable to join us and are looking forward to the recording this afternoon. And I would like to open an invitation to all and anyone on this earth who feels a resonance in their responsibility as a guardian of Gaia, to come join us along our journey as and when the time is right for them. Taking a moment to enjoy this palpable, unified field of love. And the infinite potential that this we story provides. In this present moment. And when we extend this invitation to humanity to arrive, to land fully, and to remember ourselves as love. May we share 3 Oms together to bring closure for today. Inhaling for Om. Om. Oh. Oh. Thank you all for joining us today. And I very much look forward to our next meeting, wherever it may be along the way. I love you all and appreciate you all so very much. Love from Mexico.